Why is I work for money a red flag for employers? If I was a multi-millionaire, I never would work. So many better things to do. Why is this a huge disqualifying no-no for HR? Because the goal of most employers is to get you to work for the least amount of money possible, while distracting you with the occasional pizza party. They're concerned that if you're focused on money, it will be harder to distract you from the fact you don't have any. It means you're more difficult to gaslight and manipulate. They really want you to be easy to gaslight and manipulate. I don't say I work for money. I say I work to provide for my family. It's a lot easier for them to connect with that. Because this world runs on BS. No John wants to hear that someone's in it for money. So lay back. Pretend that you enjoy it. Tell the company they're the best. And if you're convincing enough, you might even get a bonus. Employers want you to lie to them and tell them what they want to hear. They don't want to hear the truth. Because you'll expect raises. And if you don't get them, you'll be looking for someplace else to work where you will get them. Because if you know your value and demand it, they have a much harder time getting you to accept pay that is below your value. Because it is hard to take advantage of people who know better. They want docile, exploitable people who will grind and be loyal. Because money is what employers want. The more money you want, the less they potentially get to keep. They don't get to slave you out for peanuts like the ones who grovel at the opportunity to toil for pittance. Because it shows you're aware of your worth. Employers want suckers who think giving 110 for low pay will lead to something great. 'Cause they still live in the 50s when you got hired by your pep and your moxie and your firm handshake. They want every bootstrap thoroughly pulled. I said I would travel the world if I didn't have to work in my last interview. Was that a wrong answer? Lol. It makes you harder to emotionally manipulate. Because they want people they can pay as slaves. Wage slaves. With no hope of building anything for themselves and no options to actually retire. And not literally beaten like chattels. But slaves nonetheless. I work for cold hard cash is offensive to them because in that one short sentence, you've told them that you're not willing to enter that arrangement and will bail without a single care about their third yacht the second someone offers you more cold hard cash. Because they want to own you down to the bone marrow. Always remember one thing: if they could pay you less than the minimum wage, they would always choose to do so. Because it means if they don't keep correctly increasing your wage to reflect the market, you will probably go and find it elsewhere. AKA, you know your value so they cannot exploit you. Because your family obviously. Because they don't want to pay you, and they want to squeeze every drop of energy you have. They would have you work for free if it was legal. They were sold on the whole intrinsic motivation thing by management gurus. Because, as a serf slave, you are not permitted to have money. Nobody wants to pay for work anymore. Because they're idiots employed by greedy children. They don't care about quality or service or even keeping up appearances. It's all about cheap st for the longest. And cheat everyone who can't force you to treat them fairly. It's a dumb answer tbh. Everyone works for money. So the answer is just stating the obvious that we all know. I think it is really an insult of the HR intelligence. Unless you are doing it as a favor for family members. They plan to pay you and know you accept these offers willingly for money. Of course. The question which usually prompts people to make this response is why you want to work for us. Which sometimes does not have really a satisfying answer. Luckily at some interviews I have been the company tried to first advertise themselves instead of asking what do I know. In my line of work, the scariest thing an employer can hear is I'm not worried about money. They know they are expendable when you say that. Because no shit, you work for money. You thinking Debbie from HR having to sit through your train wreck of an interview is there for fun? You're being asked to differentiate yourself from the 15 other dipshits who unsurprisingly also work for money. They want your loyalty and willingness to go above and beyond, without compensation. You must pretend that you can be easily broken. It's likely they can't get you to do work for free. Which is kinda what they all do. Stolen wages where you can get it, you know what I mean. Culture tears of joy. Probably because that's an underlying assumption. They want to know, besides money, why else you want the job. They don't believe you'll go the distance for the company and become much more expensive. Or that you will hop to another company the moment more money is on the table somewhere else. Which is what you should be doing. Because that means you will be harder to exploit. Because they'd prefer to have compliant slaves. They're trying to phase out payment for work. They don't want you to remember them that they have to pay you. It is inconvenient. They really don't have to phase it out completely. They just have to make the profits much higher than what they pay for workers to the point it would be a meaningless amount. They want you to like being a baby pet slave. My ex-employer said that for me in my last interview. He was fine with it. He was like, you need money. I need workers, and if you work you get money. Some employers don't get it, some do. What do you do outside of work that you're proud of? Nothing. I can't afford to do anything. What can we do to make your work better? Pay me more money. Why are you always in such a bad mood? Because bread is like $5 a loaf and you pay me the smallest amount you legally can. The real answer is because they are worried you'll go to another company that pays more. The ideal employee works at a place for no reason other than they like it there. You guys get paid? The last time I asked for a raise, my employer said it was sad to hear I wanted more money instead. Being happy with working for them. Ended up getting the raise. But that changed how I view her completely, face with rolling eyes. Most employers want minimum cost, maximum commitment from employees. Honest, goal-oriented people are generally not ideal candidates for mindless hospitality or service industry positions. But beggars usually can't be choosers. I always roll my eyes when trust fund babies are interviewed on TV and under their name is the moniker philanthropist. Because they care about you making them money and not costing them money, versus the right way of you helping the company make money and improve in ways and get rewarded alongside the company growth. Because they prefer employees who haven't yet come to terms with the exploitive nature of employment. They want people who buy the bullshit. They would prefer you lie and pretend money is not your motive. Because dishonesty isn't a red flag apparently. It's just too straightforward, so it's kind of a shock to the system. Because they want to milk you dry for as little money as possible. I only work for money. I wouldn't be turning up if I didn't get. Because they want you to eat shit and pretend it tastes like chocolate. So they can fire you and not feel guilt that you won't be pulling in any money. Because it means you won't be taken advantage of. The people who don't like that answer don't work for free. Because they don't pay enough and they know it. So they try to make us believe it's not why we go to work. It's not enough that you let them debase you, you have to pretend like you enjoy it. Because if money is your main concern, you'll leave for more money elsewhere. They want free loyalty they can buy with cheap pizza.